Bright Lord, Dark Lord is a reference to Shadow of War. Oh, okay, okay. The Shadow of War. It's like there's the war and it's just casting a shadow. That's the thing. I mean, you call the game Shadow of War, and I guess it sounds like all ominous or whatever, but I mean, the reality is that if you've got a war over there and the game's just about a shadow that it's casting, it's kind of like, I mean, what kind of story are we telling here? It's a shadow. Shadows don't really do much, you know? They're just shadows. It means the light's over that side, and then, you know, it's just a shadow. Come on. Cool, I guess. Whatever. My friend has that shotgun they used at the end. It's a DP12. Okay. And now we know. DP12 shotty. Ass naked with a shotgun. But Haze, you ain't looking deeper. The enemy moves in the shadow. Sauron moved in the shadow. Okay. But if the war's over there and the shadow's there and Sauron's moving in the shadow, then why call it Shadow of War? Why not call it Sauron moving in a shadow? Then you know it's about Sauron or something a bit more interesting than a shadow. I'm just saying, maybe it's poor titling, really. The Shadow of War is like, okay, but what about the war itself, you know? You know what I mean? Like, it's not about the war, it's about the shadow that it casts. Alright, well. That's like everyone's Shadow of Mordor. It's like, okay, so it's not about Mordor, it's about the shadow that it that the Shadow of Mordor casts. Why make games about shadows? You know what I mean? It's like one of the most boring things in the world, a shadow. I mean, don't get me wrong, I guess they're useful, you know, to provide shade, you know, from the heat when you need to cool down. I guess that's what they do during the game. Like it casts a shadow, and you can lie in a shadow and just like cool yourself down from the heat because, like, you know, it's like 99 degrees or whatever. You might need some shade just to cool down. So I guess that's a good thing you could do with a shadow. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really. Yo, Leo Van Reinelv, how you doing? Appreciate you coming through. Everyone has a shadow, so it's relatable. I guess that's true. I guess that's true. But yeah. I don't know if I want to get. I don't know if I want a video game concerning about my shadow. I mean, I'd like to think my life is more interesting than my shadow's life. But then again, maybe there's like a whole life that shadows leaves that people just don't know about. You know, so perhaps that's what they're trying to get at. Perhaps. Sauron is a shadow. Oh, so then the name of the shadow is Sauron. Because I thought Sauron was a wizard, but apparently they named it. Or was Sauron a wizard? And he was such a good wizard. Or such a boring wizard, rather, they decided to name the shadow after him. They're like, okay, here's my shadow. The shadow is boring, so I'm going to name it after this boring-ass wizard. As the shadow is called Sauron. Cool. I think I got it now. I think I got it. I totally know what this conversation is about. Nice. Oh, so I just missed that first message. Oh, big up. Sorry for that. But yeah, big up for coming through, Leo. Until you play Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, you ain't ran to the shite. I'm just saying, like, there might be great games. I'm sure they are. I mean, a lot of people seem to like them, but their titling is poor. You know? I think without playing the game, that much I can say. You know, they have poor titling. They named their game after a shadow. Like, what's so interesting about that? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's not the war; it's about the shadow. Gotcha. Oh my god, Haze, just get the duck game and stop the rants. Yeah, maybe. I'm not really into that whole Lord of the Bum Rings or whatever those games are called. Those movies bores the hell out of me. And the games, I believe the games are based more on the movies than they are on the books. In fact, the books didn't really interest me that much either. The book was... I read one of the books. No, I read parts of 2 of the books, and they both bored the hell out of me. So, yeah. I'm not going to lie, my shadow's more interesting than me. Oh, that's a shame, man. Gotta do something about that, man. Gotta do something about that. Can't be jealous of your shadow, man. Hey, it's just up till you educate yourself. I'm just saying. It's like, look, I'm not trying to talk about the game. I'm sure the game is great or whatever. I haven't played the game or any of the games. I'm just saying the title is poor, you know. I can say a game has a poor title because I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about the title of the game, not the game itself. So I don't need to play the game to say it has a good title or a poor title. I'm just saying the game has a poor title. You will get the game and like it. Maybe I will. Maybe. It'll still have a poor title. That doesn't change whether I like the game or not. That title is still bad. Even if Shadow War is good, the title sounds quite generic. There you go. Exactly. Leo gets it. Could be the best game in the world. It's a poor title. Lord of the Rings of life. Silence. Ah. Listen, there's only one trilogy, and it's not of the rings, it's of the Jedi. Frodo. Yeah, and I read I tried reading The Hobbit, and I just got bored. I was bored on the first chapter. It was so boring. And that guy Gandalf, he sounds like an arsehole, quite frankly. He turns up at Bilbo's house unannounced, and then he brings all his friends, and all his friends like demanding cake, and it's like, tea and cake, and he's like, yo, wait a minute. First of all, he turns this guy's house unannounced, and then complain that he doesn't have food for you. Like, what the hell is that? How can you turn up to somebody's house unannounced and then complain that they don't have food ready for you? Like, that is so bad. That is so bad. And all the guy wants to do is just sit at home, eat his cake, and have his tea. And this Gandalf guy is trying to get him to go on an adventure, and he's like, I don't want to go on an adventure. I just want to sit and eat my cake and have my tea. And Gandalf's like, oh, go on an adventure. And it's like, just leave the guy alone, man. Leave the guy alone. That would have been a short book had he didn't manipulate him into going into some adventure that he didn't want to go into. It would have been like one chapter, and that chapter would have been like maybe 10 pages, and that's it. That's it. You will get the game and like it. I might get the game and I might like it. Not anytime soon, though. I have the high ground, Anakin. You know it, man. Your face bores me. Gandalf is amazing. Excuse me. You'll get fucking wrecked, mate. Gandalf. I'm just saying though, like Gandalf turned up at Bilbo Baggins' house unannounced and manipulated him into going into it on an adventure that he didn't want to go into. That is the story. That is the beginning of The Hobbit, and that's how this whole thing starts. Gandalf turning up unannounced and convincing some guys to go on an adventure that he didn't want to go into, and then bringing all his friends, and then like demanding that, complaining that he didn't have tea and cake ready for them. It's like, look, man, the guy is just trying to sit and enjoy his day, and you turn up at his house and he's like, where's the cake? And complain about the type of cake that he serves. It's like, first of all, you turn up to his house unannounced, be grateful you got anything, and then you complain about you not having cake, and then you complain about the type of cake that he has. It's like, come on, man. No respect out here, man. Damn. Must be part of the Hobbit lore to accommodate tall old men at random times of the day. You know what I mean? It's like, jeez. Turn up unannounced, turn up like Jehovah Witness, just like, yeah. And he was nice to them, you know what I mean? Bilbo was nice to them. He's trying to be polite, trying to be accommodating. He's not trying to. He could have been rude. He would have been well within his rights to say no, thank you. Get out my house. He would have been well within his rights to be like, get out my house. I don't want you here. Leave me alone. Call the police or whatever. He would have been well within his rights. But he was nice to them. Man. He was respectful, and they were disrespectful to him. Demanding cake and then complaining about the type of cake. It's like, listen, Tesco's down the road. Go to the shop and get your own cake. Bored of the Rings. Yeah, I said, yeah, that's about right. Bilbo wanted to go on the adventure, but he hid it. Bilbo did not want to go on the adventure. In the first book, in the first chapter, the first chapter of the Hobbit, he did not want to go. He didn't even like adventures. He was that whole chapter is that he did not like adventures. That is the first chapter of the first book of the Hobbit. He did not want to go. They might have changed it for the movie. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know if they changed that for the movie. But in the book, he actually didn't want to go. He didn't like adventures. He just wanted to sit at home and just enjoy his day, put his feet up, and have tea and cake. Gandalf used Jedi mind tricks on him. You know what I mean? Actually, to be fair, not even Jedi mind tricks. He probably used. Oh no! You know what? No. I messed that up. I was gonna say he used the mind powers, but I just remember he actually played Magneto, not Xavier. So yeah, I mixed up a little bit. But anyway, yeah, never mind. Maybe he learned some stuff from Xavier that you use on him. Yeah, and he changed Bilbo for the better instead of hiding in Holmes the rest of his life. But did he change him for the better? You know, maybe Bilbo just wanted to, you know, stay at home and like live his life. And who knows what would have happened to Bilbo had he just stayed at home. He might have had a very fulfilling life had he just stayed at home. Bill was hiding it, you moron. He became accustomed to the. Well, he had to become accustomed. Of course, he became accustomed to it. Of course, he became accustomed to it. I mean, he was manipulating to go into adventures. Like once he's there, you got to get accustomed to it. I mean, what else are you gonna do? Of course, he got accustomed to it. He could have been accustomed to sitting at home eating tea and cake as well. He could have been well accustomed to that. I'd say Frodo and Sam were the ones who didn't want to go on an adventure, where Bilbo was kind of like it at the end. Didn't he thank at the end? Maybe, but I didn't read the whole book because I said I got bored of it, and I've not seen the movie, so yeah, he was manipulating himself. They might have changed that for the movie, but he definitely got manipulated by Gandalf in the book. In the book, that much I can tell you because that's the bit I read. He got manipulated by Gandalf in the book. And he was nice to those people who he didn't really have to be nice to at all. They were rude to him, man. Disrespectful, turn up at his house unannounced the morning cake and tea. He was like, come on, man. Man's just got enough for himself. Man's just trying to feed himself. You got like a whole gang of people just turning up like, where's the cake? This cake is not good. That was chapter 1 of The Hobbit. The rest of it, I was like, you know, this book is boring. I can't read this. But yeah, anyway. I might actually, to be honest though, I might actually try watching the Lord of the Rings movies again at some point. Because I did watch them years ago, and then for real, I did find them. The first one I thought was okay, but the second two I thought were just didn't really do it for me. But I might try watching them again. Maybe I've got a different opinion now, because that happens. You know, you watch a film at one time, and you don't really like it. You watch it again, and you have a different opinion of it. So I might try watching it again. But yeah, I know. We'll see. Lord of the Rings movies are worth reviewing. Okay, cool. But I just remember that line in Clerks 2 where he says the Lord of the Rings movies were 3 movies of walking. When he said that, I was like, yes. Because that was pretty much my exact opinion of it that time. Was that it's 3 movies of walking to a volcano. If you've not seen Clerks 2, by the way, that's a good movie.